In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
All right, folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
The wrong way. Welcome to the place. Welcome to
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started again.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. Across the globe, it is I, your lovable host, L. Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. The number that you can call this evening is toll-free 603-835-3224. Again, that's 603-835-3224 here on this Tuesday, September the 15th, in the year of our Lord, 2015. Yes, well, Actually, I almost thought it was Wednesday, hump day, but not quite yet. The days are just moving by fast. Look, earlier today, well, not that much earlier today. This is because what I'm about to tell you is simply because I'm not a glory hound, and I want people to understand that right off the bat. But it's simply because I liken myself to a liberty knight. I'm a knight of liberty. I guess it'd be liberty because there's Knights of Columbus. I don't want to do that. So I'm a liberty knight. LK. Simply because earlier today, well, actually, it finished up about an hour ago. Yours truly had to, it was at another studio, 90.7 Manchester, New Hampshire, finishing up another program that I'm now a permanent member of a new round table 2-hour discussion. And tonight was our inaugural episode, our premiere episode, if you will, called The Right Group, RIGHT Group. And I was sitting there with 4 rather distinguished people. I mean, there was one lady was a PhD and historian. Another lady is a founder of a number of liberty teaching and liberty loving and promoting nonprofit groups. And she's lived just about everywhere on the planet too. But she is born American citizen, by the way. Another young man, already the head of a rather important and influential New Hampshire Christian nonprofit group that has had events that have included and will be including people like Donald Trump and Ben Carson and some other notables in the past. And the guy, I think he said his age today. He's 28 or 30, and he's already the head of this organization. Absolutely incredible. A very distinguished and very knowledgeable pastor of a large evangelical type of church in the greater Manchester area in the town of Amherst, as well as a very well-known financial guru and expert. All of us conservatives. And we had a wonderful time discussing, going over a number of different topics. Well, actually, it was pretty much one basic topic that had many, it's kind of like the trunk of the tree that had many different branches to it. And, right now they are working on still putting the finishing touches on the website. So it's not, I just checked this morning. It's not up yet, but it will be up soon. And as soon as it is, I will be putting a link to it on the rodeccles.net page or website. But, you can find it at 90.7 FM, Manchester, New Hampshire. So just make sure you look for Manchester, New Hampshire. Speaking of which, I know that because, we got to do our own little private, self-promo there on the air. I do want to welcome any and all new listeners that are finding the program for the first time from 90.7. Welcome aboard. Now you have to listen for at least 5 nights, at least 5 shows, in order to be construed or considered to be an ecclesiastite. Now, what is an ecclesiastite? An ecclesiastite is a fan of the Rod Eccles Show, basically a lover of liberty and freedom, who also wants to study fact and logic. Of course, unlike the PhD, the doctor that was on the show with me earlier tonight, there are no degrees given here because this is an forever continuing educational process for you as well as myself. I'm still a student of logic and historical fact as well. But I am your teacher. I'm not a professor. I'm just your teacher. I'm your teacher of historical fact and logic in the area of conservatism. So if you become my student, you are known as an ecclesiastite. And speaking of ecclesiastite, you can also get my book on Amazon called The Conservative Ecclesiastes. Now, all you got to do is just look up Rod Eccles over there on Amazon, and you will find me. You will find the book. It is a quick read about conservative logic. So check it out. Tell me what you think about it. Even if you hate it. I know liberals. You know what? I'm still waiting for liberals to tell me that they hate it because it's hard for them to, it's hard. It's only logical. I don't bash anybody in the book. I don't point. All I'm talking about is logic. Conservatism and logic. Logical conservatism. So it's hard to bash something that only talks about logic, which is very difficult to dispute logic. Because something is either right or it's not right. It's right or it's wrong. I mean, there's no gray with logic. It either is or it isn't. So I know it's hard for people to bash that because of that. So, which is, it is what it is. But one of the things that we were discussing over there on the right group, we got on the subject of personal responsibility. Personal responsibility. And how today's Democratic Party is so out of touch with the norm, with fact, with logic, with the American people. That, I could go, maybe I need to put together an educational series or something about this, because this stuff is getting really, really important. We have, even the Republican leadership is out of touch. They're not just out of touch with the American people. They're out of touch with reality. But, but speaking of reality, I have to be reminded of this particular fact, which is reality. And the fact is that, the old saying is that you elect the government you deserve. And, we have many, and I hammer this all the time. We have many Americans, many of you who don't vote, but again, many of you who do vote, but they complain about the federal government, the size of it. They complain about the Congress, the president. But you see, we have the government that we have because we elected the people that we elected. There's no getting around that fact. We have the political leadership, both in Congress and in the White House and in all the governmental departments, because of the people that we elected. Now you could say, well, Rod, this person, they're appointed. Yes, they were appointed by the person that you elected. So if you don't like who they're appointing, well, then you got to stop electing the person doing the appointing. You got to stop. We talked a little bit about the Supreme Court and how the Supreme Court and other, lower courts have moved into the realm that is saved for the legislature. Creating law. And the judiciary has now for some time now been creating law from the bench, which is unconstitutional. But again, we have those judges there for only one reason, because they were nominated by the people that we elected. So if they're on the federal bench, they're nominated by the president. And so the president is going to nominate who they want to see on different levels of the federal bench. So those judges are only there because the president nominated them, and the president is only able to nominate them because we, the people, elected that particular person to the presidency. And I know some people will say, well, Congress can stop them, the Senate can stop them in the confirmation process. Well, they get approved and confirmed in the Senate because of the senators. And the senators are only there because we, the people, elected them. So when we listen and hear these politicos during the current electoral season, and we have, everybody's got something to rant about with these people. I'm not, hey, look, I'm right up there with you. I'm ranting with you. Not because, none of them, none of them really deserve to be reelected as far as I'm concerned. Any of them that are up for a reelection, none of them. I've always said, clean house, get rid of them, change it over, 435 in the House. Come up with some new blood. It's not hard. And then maybe we can stop complaining about Congress, because this Congress, over the past 6 years or so, Congress has had some of the lowest approval ratings in the history of this country. Yet we keep reelecting the same people that are a part of the Congresses that we don't like. I know. I've heard this too. Well, Rod, you see, it's not my representative or my senator that's the problem. It's somebody else's representative and senator that's the problem. Over there in, because I'm here in California. So it's over there in Kentucky that's the problem. And then you run over to Kentucky. Well, I got to tell you, I'm over here in Kentucky, and it's not my representatives, not my senators the problem. It's those representatives and senators over there in California. You see the problem? The problem is that you want to blame somebody else for being the problem. You want to blame somebody else for the people that you elected. Nobody else's fault, nobody else's problem. We have the government that we elected. Understand that every single bit of it. From the White House to the Congress to the judiciary, to all those departments with all of those figureheads, to all those bureaucrats who constantly churn out new rules and regulations. All of that, the size of government, $18 trillion in debt and growing, $4 trillion a year budget, all of that rests upon the shoulders of each and every one of us. And I know some people listening to this program are saying, well, can't blame me, I didn't vote. Oh, you're one of the biggest problems. The next person that says, can't blame me, I didn't vote, you're the problem. You're the biggest problem. You bear more responsibility than the person who did vote. Because a person might have voted for somebody else that didn't get elected who might have been the right person, but they just think not enough people saw that and voted for him, so they didn't get elected. But you, by sitting at home on your duff and not voting, basically, you elected whoever won that particular race. So it is just as much, if not more, your fault, the non-voter, than it is the voter's fault. Why? Because if we had all of those non-voters out there voting for the right person, well, guess what? The right person would win the election and our government would be different. So you non-voters out there, you're the major problem that we're having in this country. And I know a lot of people are out there saying, well, we need to elect people that are going to do stuff for us. Really? No, our government doesn't need to do anything for us other than to keep us safe, something that they're not doing. Isn't that amazing? Think about this for a second. This is absolutely mind blown. Our government is doing so much that is really unconstitutional to help the American citizen and the non-citizen alike. Oh, spending all kinds of money, $4 trillion, $18 trillion in debt, all kinds of money to help all the citizens of the United States. Doing all this really unconstitutional spending. And then the very things that they're supposed to do, so says the Constitution, the government isn't doing, like securing the borders. Making sure our military is well equipped and well fed. It's not. Oh yeah, hey, but let's just make sure that, that Section 8 housing person down there who chooses to sit on their duff instead of get out there and find a job, make sure they get their welfare check every month and their SNAP benefits every month so they can buy food for the kiddies, right? Oh yeah, that's more important than securing the borders. Not according to the Constitution, it's not. But this is what we elect. We had this, when it comes to welfare, we had at one point welfare reform that worked. And somehow between, I signed this welfare reform act because I had to. I didn't have it because Congress, they were just breathing down my neck. And even if I vetoed it, no, they would have overridden. I would have looked like a fool. I can't be looking like a fool. So I had to go along with it thinking, later on we can come back and fix it. And they did. So now welfare is bigger than it's ever been. And people are not moving off the welfare dime like they used to. They're not. In fact, they're being kept on it. I find it amazing that we have a government that has PSAs and paid commercials. Yeah, paid commercials out there telling people about what? Welfare benefits. If you don't know that you might be able to qualify for welfare or for SNAP or for WIC or for this or for that, why don't you just come on down to a local government office and fill out an application and we can tell you. We want to help. No, in other words, what they're saying is they want to put you on a welfare program so they can control your life. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because they're taking the responsibility for caring for and taking care of you, from you, and putting it in their own hands. But the only way they're able to do that is if you take your one serious duty as a citizen and either not do your duty as a citizen, or you go do your duty, but you elect the wrong people who then get into office to put in all these programs and spend all this money that do not help anybody or anything, and then you want to sit back home and complain. What? You need to get with the program. Program is you got to elect the right people. Well, who are the right people, Rod? Well, that depends on where you are. I don't know every single person that's running for every single particular seat in every single district in these United States. Not possible for me to know. Well, I suppose it is possible if I wanted to spend, hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours studying, but I don't have that kind of time. That's why it's up to you. It's up to you to get out there and make a difference. You got to take some responsibility, some personal responsibility in all of this. You have to make sure that you're up. You're up on all the candidates that are available for you to vote for. Understand who they are, what they want, and who they're going to do it to before you pull the lever. Now, if you haven't heard already, then you don't, if you have heard, you know what I'm going to talk about on the Bernie Sanders side. If you haven't heard, let me tell you, there is, we'll get into this after the break. Well, Bernie Sanders somebody has done a study, a real study, at the cost of Bernie Sanders' programs that he's been touting on out there on the campaign trail. It's a huge number, folks. You're not going to like it. I know I didn't like it when I saw it and read it. I'm looking at it thinking, are you kidding me? This is insane. But he's drawing 20 to 30,000 plus people at events, wherever he goes, which is really insane to think about. All of those people are supporting a devout and avowed socialist / communist. He's embraced that term. He's a dyed-in-the-wool. He's an old. I like Sean Hannity. He's an old curmudgeon. And people, well, hey, Donald Trump isn't looking or acting presidential lately. Well, have you looked at Bernie Sanders lately? Does he look like that he should be the president of the United States of America? No, not really. He should be locked up in an insane asylum, but he's out free to be, senator at large from the state of Vermont. So think about that. He didn't even put down roots anywhere. Roots in a party. He's an independent. Well, everybody should be an independent. Well, it just means if you're an independent, you don't have the guts to stand for a single party. He's really a Democrat. Doesn't matter. Because he's trying for the Democratic nomination on the Democratic ticket, right? Well, he's a Democrat. But you won't believe the cost of all the programs, in the state tuition, single-payer health care, universal health care, and some other stuff. What he's touting on the campaign trail, what he thinks government should do, you won't believe the cost of it. But he does have a proposal, 90% income tax. How would you like that?
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSInstitute.com.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
603-835-3224 is toll-free number should you wish to join me here live on the Rod Eccles Show and talk to yours truly, me, Elrod. Just for information, the Right Group is on every Tuesday at 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Manchester, New Hampshire, on 90.7 FM. And you can actually go and they have an app that you can download if you want to. For 90.7, 90.7. And you can actually listen to the program there as well as at www.nhfamilyradio.com. NH stands for New Hampshire, obviously. So that's nhfamilyradio.com. And keep on the lookout for the program's website, which is going to be, and that this is a fact, it is the Right Group, RIGHT, the dash, that little dash, don't write dash down, you don't spell dash, you just put that dash in there, right, the rightgroup.net. And they also have .com too, with the same thing, and I'm not sure which one is going to redirect you to which one, but I do believe it's .net is going to be the main one, and if you enter .com, you'll be redirected to .net. As soon as they have that live, check daily. I'm not exactly sure. They haven't told me when they're actually going to have it live, so check daily. It's going to be pretty cool. It's interesting stuff. You're gonna, want to check it out. Well, if you can't get enough of listening to me, well, the only problem if you listen to the Right Group is that it's not all me talking. It's 5 of us, and we're not all talking at the same time. Think of it, the Right Group, as being the conservative version of The View. Well, there's also what is it on Fox? Fox News, there's The Five. We all have we're all it, the, nothing else. The Five. So yeah. But unfortunately for our listeners, we're not a bunch of old cackling hens that are past our prime. Now, not all of them on their View are old cackling hens past their prime, but most of them are, and trust me, they would know who they are. If you said old cackling hens, hey, look, they got rid of one. Well, they didn't get rid of her; she retired, and she's the one that look. They have so many cackling hens over there on the View that they can't keep them. I don't. Well, actually, the program has been on for a lot of years. It's amazing how time flies. But the View's been on. Wait, weren't they canceling it I thought this was, isn't this their last season or something that they're maybe that was just a rumor or something that was started by the Onion. I don't recall because I don't pay attention to them anyway. Who pays attention to Whoopi Goldberg and the likes of Whoopi Goldberg and what's the other one? Rosie O'Donnell. Is Rosie O'Donnell still on The View? I don't know. I don't particularly care. And I don't particularly care about, the what was it? Joy Behar is not on there anymore, right? She's got her own show. Yeah, she was a big total nut job, let me tell you. Whoa. Rosie is bad too. So one of the things that I said today because everything's about entertainment. And I get it. People want to be entertained. Yeah, I want to be entertained sometimes too. I really do. I get the entertainment thing. And I realize that, Rush Limbaugh is more entertaining than he is informative. Now, on the other hand, Sean Hannity at the radio show is also more entertaining than informative. And this program used to be more entertaining than informative because I had all kinds of, parodies and stuff that I often played. Actually, I still have them. I got to jump into my archives and go find those things. I think you guys all my listeners would love some of the parodies that they either found or created back in the day when I first started doing this program. I think I'll have to do that. So we'll make it a little bit more entertaining. But I'm trying to really be educational at the same time. Like many of the other programs, The View, even though it's based on an entertainment style of a platform, they are trying to be informative in their own little way. To their all liberal minions, they're trying to be informative. I get it. But speaking of entertaining, of course, there's a Donald out there. But the reason why I bring up the Donald is simply because his show, The Apprentice, is no longer his show. It is now going to be headed by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, my question is, since the Donald had his children at his right hand and left hand side, now Arnold's got some adult. What's his Patrick Schwarzenegger? Is that his? I think it's his oldest son's. Is he going to be joining Dad? Now I know Patrick is. He's trying to be an actor / model, or is it model / actor? A lot. Yeah, I didn't realize that Arnold and Maria Shriver had kids old enough. Well, I guess as old as they are, they would have kids old enough to be kids into their adult years. Because Patrick is in late 20s, early 30s, or something like that. But when I first really noticed or heard about him, and I guess it's been some time ago, there was a picture of him. I think the picture, he was shirtless, and it was coming across my Facebook news feed because of all the ladies, all the women. Didn't matter their ages really. All the women saying how much of a hottie he is. Now, I haven't heard people call Donald Trump Jr. a hottie. So I don't know if he is or isn't, but I'm guessing he's not because I haven't heard any, I don't see pictures of him shirtless or anything. I don't know if he does pose for shirtless pictures, but I haven't seen any come across my news feed. And yes, Facebook is my whole world. No, Facebook is not my whole world. But, when it comes to this pop culture type of stuff, you can really depend on Facebook to be the king of it. Yeah, I know there's TMZ or TZ, whatever. TMZ. Right? Is it? Yeah, TMZ. Do they have a website? They do. They must. Right? Yeah. I don't. Was it? Is it? TMZ.com. I don't know. I don't particularly care, but there are a lot of people out there that do, and I'm not going to fault them for caring about pop culture and celebrity. Now, I was digressing from my point I was trying to make. I realize that. And those of you who are new to the show, you realize you got to hang in there with me. Because I don't digress for no reason at all. It always comes back to help me make the point that I was trying to get to in the first place. But I want to bring in, because there's so much I want to tell you, and there's so much out there that a lot of times I might branch. It seems like I'm branching off into something that doesn't really reflect or have anything to do with what I'm currently talking about. But in the end, it does, and you'll see. And you'll see why. It's important that we bring, I realize that it's important that people get a broad perspective and bring in things that, on this trunk of this tree. You got to bring in things from all these different branches so you get a fuller picture and a better, clearer understanding and perspective on what I'm talking about. Now, we have all this celebrityness out there. Yeah, and that's reflected even in our so-called news programs, like The View, like Rush Limbaugh, like Sean Hannity, like this one. There's an entertainment value and an entertainment factor to all of that kind of stuff. But when you get right down to it, what do people really pay attention to is the celebrityness, people who really have not contributed anything to you or me other than possibly try to entertain us. And I don't mean in the term, in the sense of entertaining by singing. I know there are a lot of singers. You usually got to have talent. I say usually because there are some successful singers out there that absolutely have no talent, but I don't know how they make it. But, all the little teeny boppers go, and they love their stuff. Boy bands, I really don't like boy bands. Can't stand them. Most of them don't, there are a few that do have talent. Most of them don't. For whatever reason, the little teeny bopper girls think that that the boys in these boy bands look pretty. Okay. Sure, if that's what they want to consider to be pretty, fine. Great. Go for it. I don't see it, but okay. It's like the Justin Bieber thing. Is the kid going to grow up? He doesn't have to shave yet, does he? He still looks like a 12-year-old. Is that what makes him pretty? I don't know. Just saying. But anyway, we're talking about the celebrityness of these people that don't have anything to offer other than they're just a celebrity. They're not a musician or a singer or an actor or an artist, what have you. They're just they're famous for being famous. You know who the people I'm talking about right now who are famous for being famous? That's the Kardashians. And I made a comment earlier today that we're all surrounded by and so focused on celebrity garbage and crap. And now, make no mistake about it, because hang on, there's something else here that I got to get to you on, and you're. It has to do with another actress. But so hang on, we're getting to it. Now I'm coming around to it. I'm bringing all this in together for you. But I made a comment during the Right Group broadcast today about Kim Kardashian. It was very politically incorrect. And I said the last picture I saw of her and Kanye, her husband, I said that she looked like a cow. I realize that she's pregnant, but let's face it, she looked wide. I'm just going to tell you, she looked wide. I like I said, I understand that she's pregnant, but my gosh, she looked wide. And what she was wearing, it was like this brown jumpsuit thing, and her chest was like, she wasn't wearing, it didn't appear like she was wearing a bra. So her chest was just hanging there in this brown thing, and it looked like udders. That's why I said she looked like a cow. It was a disgusting picture, to tell you the truth, but they were out in the town, and she was out in the town with Kanye. First pictures of Kim or something with Kanye and the pregnant. I don't know what it was about, but it was a disgusting picture. But evidently, they took the picture because they were posing for it, so evidently they're both proud of it. I still don't understand it or get it. Maybe I should go and find it and put it on the website so you guys can take a look at it and make your own decision. But to me, I thought she looked like a cow. I'm not saying that she is, and it wasn't simply because, it wasn't simply because she put on weight. But this whole point that she is an influence on a lot of people under the age of 30, male and female. She's an influence. So are a lot of these so-called celebrities. They really don't contribute anything, much at all, if they contribute anything, other than, entertaining us somehow. So I don't know how the hell do the Kardashians entertain? I don't know. I did something over the weekend, and it'll be 10 minutes I cannot get back in my life. It'll be 10 minutes I can't get back. I was flipping because it was raining hard here in the Granite State, and I was stuck in my house. Pretty much. I couldn't do anything outside because it was raining too much and too hard. I mean, it wasn't really cold, but it was not generally a nice day. So I'll just sit back, relax a little bit, stay home once in a while. It's kind of good for the soul, good for the house. I get to actually see the house, my house, where I live. And I was flipping through the channels because, again, I don't often watch TV. So I'm flipping through the channels and cable. It's a Sunday afternoon. There's nothing on. Now I don't know how many channels I got. I mean, 90% of them are junk on my cable, but I pay for them, but 90% are junk. So I'm scrolling down through here, and I land on something called I Am Kate. Now, I've heard about this program, never watched it, didn't really care. And for those of you who don't know what it is, it's about Bruce Jenner. Well, Caitlyn Jenner. What? Bruce Jenner. And he tried to change his name to Caitlyn. With a C, by the way. So I'm like, oh, okay. So here I am. Let's. What do they got to talk about for the this? What are people talking about in this I Am Kate crap? They're on a tour bus or big RV tour bus. I don't know where they're going, but they're drinking wine. White wine, and acting, cackling like a bunch of hens, and he's traveling with, I guess, I don't think all of them were, but I think most of the girls he was traveling with, they were transgendered women too. And I'm looking at, every time they pan over to Bruce or Kate, I'm utterly disgusted. Does he really think he's a woman now? And I'm watching them just cackling about nothing, drinking wine. And I'm thinking to myself, my God, it's been 10 minutes. What the hell am I? This is ridiculous. This is the most ridiculous stuff I've ever seen. This is entertainment? But this is not entertainment. But he's a celebrity now. And when he talks, people under the age of 30 listen. So when he says something about politics, and like all of these celebrities that say something about politics, most of the time it's totally liberal. It's whacked out liberalism. I mean, they have no clue what they're saying. Like, what's her, Gwyneth Paltrow's conscious uncoupling. What is that kind of crap? But they're talking about politics, and they're influencing the young, the people under the age of 30. And those people under the age of 30, some of them actually do go out and vote, and they pull a lever for another ridiculously stupid liberal like Bernie Sanders. So it's important that we understand this stuff. But we give way too much emphasis on these kind of people. Case in point. Now, I gotta be frank. At first, I didn't know who Emily Blunt was. I still can't remember any movie or TV show that she's been in, but I do kind of recognize the face. I don't know from where. But Emily Blunt came after the she made a statement after the first GOP debate. She made a statement that she regrets becoming a U.S. citizen after the GOP debate. And I'm thinking to myself, what? Wait a minute. Are you kidding me? You went through the process of becoming a citizen of the United States of America, an American citizen, and something as simple as a GOP presidential nomination debate makes you regret being an American? I cannot fathom that kind of thinking. My logical brain gets a headache because it's trying to compute. You know, you read this stuff in, you listen to the video and the audio, and the logical brain just says does not compute. Now, me especially, I have to try to make sense of this kind of stuff. So I'm delving into this thinking, well, why? What in particular did she not like it? There was nothing. She just didn't like the debate, period. I doubt she even watched the whole thing. But now she's out there spouting off, well, I regret becoming an American citizen. Now, how many of these young, mindful of mushes under the age of 30 are going to be listening to Emily Blunt? And Emily Blunt is going to be out there saying, you know, help me be proud of being an American, becoming an American again by voting for Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton or whoever the liberal is. And these minds full of mushes under the age of 30 are going to say, we want to help Emily. We love you, Emily. We're going to help you. We're going to do what you ask. And we're going to vote for somebody like this. That's what I'm talking about. It's total insanity is breaking out all over the country. It's an epidemic of insanity. Now, actually, you know what? No, it's not insanity. I tell you, rare case, I'm wrong. I wasn't really wrong. I misspoke. It's not an epidemic of insanity. It's an epidemic of stupidity that is breaking out all over the country. It's stupidity. Who in their right mind is going to be influenced enough to change their vote because a celebrity said so? That's not ignorance. This is out and out stupidity. This is why I do not, worry about when people ask me, well, who are you supporting, Rod? Who are you going to endorse? First of all, I don't know yet. I haven't made up my mind. But even when I have made up my mind, I don't tell people. Why? Why do you want to know? Is it the reason why you want to know is because you're gonna support who I support? Or is it, do you want to know because you're asking questions about the candidate that I might be supporting? Now, if you're asking me who I support, you can ask questions of why I'm supporting the candidate that I'm supporting. That's great. But if you're asking me just simply to find out, so this, well, hey, yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I should vote for him too. Huh, Rod? No, I don't want that. I'm not influenced. I'm not out there to influence people like that. I mean, that's stupidity too. If you are going to vote for somebody simply because somebody else that you know, love, trust, what have you, is voting for them, and that's the only reason you're voting for them, you're no better than the person who isn't voting at all. It's just stupidity. You need to find out what candidates stand for. Forget about what these idiot leftist liberal celebrities think or say, because most of them don't have now, come on, are you going to tell me that you think that Kim Kardashian is a Rhodes Scholar? Are you going to tell me that you think Emily Blunt is a Rhodes Scholar? Well, no. Okay, then why the hell would you listen to them when they're trying to influence you so they can get their own little way out in Hollywood? That goes, I'm speaking to all of you entertainment junkies out there, celebrity junkies, and most of you are under the age of, under the age of 30. So this is something you need to be paying attention to. You need to be paying more attention to people who are logic and they're telling you the truth versus these idiots out in the look. The one reason why they're lefties is so it makes them feel good about themselves, because it's all about how you feel, right? It isn't about the truth. It isn't about logic. It isn't about what's best for your neighborhood. It isn't what's best for your state. It isn't what's best for your country. It's what's best for them. They're not trying to help you at all. They're trying to help themselves. And the proof is that they are out there dictating and touting and saying, yeah, Bernie Sanders, we need higher taxes. But every single one of them is not volunteering any more in tax revenue than they absolutely have to pay. They're hiring accountants and lawyers, all to spend hours and hours and hours scouring over their incomes and their deductions and blah, 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 going over all the IRS rules to make sure that they pay as little as they legally possibly can. And in some cases, even illegally less than they're supposed to. But yet they're going to run around telling you that, we need to raise taxes because government needs to do this and government needs to do that. And yet they're the ones, because you're the fools spending $5, $10, $15, $20 on a movie or concert ticket, $60, $70, $80 or more. They don't have to worry about government stuff because you're giving them money anyway. So they can say whatever the hell they want because it's not going to affect most of them anyway. So this whole celebrity status crap, it affects politics because all we seem to want in this country right now is to be entertained. Even if that entertainment really isn't entertaining, it's just celebrityism on parade. Look, if you want celebrityism, then don't support the Kardashians and Emily Blunt and people like them. Just go over to Facebook. Hell, going over to Facebook and start making your own pages and everything. You might be the one that becomes a celebrity. You probably won't get rich, but at least everybody will know you. And then you'll be able to influence other people as well. How about that?
The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Hey folks, Slickery Trigger here. I'd like to take a minute to tell you about Rebel Road Tactical. As a defensive pistol instructor, I've had the opportunity to observe many different holster designs and configurations. And one thing is clear. Many of my students won't carry a pistol. Or worse, they'll carry one without a holster at all. Holster designers aren't making holsters for normal people. It seems that most holsters are either an expensive piece of gear designed for Rambo or a piece that doesn't fit or function the way real people need it to fit and function. So, like any good Texan, I decided to learn to form codex and design one myself, one that would fit the needs of average people. The result is the Rebel Road Tactical CRT Modular. The CRT stands for Carry, Range, and Training. Its thin and lightweight curved design minimizes printing and is adjustable to fit just right for superior comfort and function. Check us out after the show at rebelroadconcealed.blogspot.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Alright folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started again.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Jimmy Kimmel, on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Now, you have to understand that she's a British-born actress. And she became an American citizen just last month, and she said immediately regretted it after watching the first GOP presidential debate. She said, I became an American citizen recently, and that night we watched the Republican debate, and I thought, this was a terrible mistake. What have I done? What she told The Hollywood Reporter. Now, Blunt is currently promoting her latest film, Sicario, Sicario. I don't know anything about that one. Never heard of it. And you know what? I'm not even in. I am not going to support these idiots. This is why I always say, if I happen to like you as an actor or an actress, hey, Will Smith, keep your mouth shut. You entertain me. But once I know what a fool, what an idiot, what a Dunekoff, what a liberal jerk-off you are because you opened your stupid mouth and said something and uttered something you never should have, now I can't enjoy your stuff anymore, so I cannot go out and buy the DVD or buy that movie ticket or buy the music or CD or what have you or go online, and I won't even watch it on Netflix. So don't open your mouth. But this is what she said continuing. Now, presidential politics evidently isn't the only problem that Blunt has with U.S. citizenship. She said last week on Jimmy Kimmel Live that although she now has dual citizenship, her oath technically required her to swear non-allegiance to Queen Elizabeth. This is what she said. She said, I'm not sure I'm entirely thrilled about it. People ask me about it the whole day. They were like, oh, it must have been so emotional. I was like, it wasn't. It was sad. I like being British. Then why did you become an American citizen? Does any of that make any sense to you? But yet she's going to go out there and talk about political stuff like, oh, yeah, the GOP debate had made me ashamed to be an American. You're not a freaking American then. And, of course, Twitter was all ablaze about this, and with many suggesting the actress go back to England if she didn't like America. I don't. What I know I've seen. What has she been in? She's been in what, low budgets? You know what? Actually, last weekend, now I know where I've seen her. Last weekend. Was it last weekend? I think it was last weekend. Yeah, I think it was Sunday or Saturday or something. I was actually, somebody came over, and I was complaining that, there's never anything on, I don't have any channels, blah, blah, blah. And they were scrolling all the way down the guide. And they're like, I bet you've got this, this, and this. Like, HBO and a few other things. I'm like, I don't pay for that. I don't have it. But you have it. Like, I don't have it. I don't pay for it. But you have it. Like, if I don't pay for it, how am I going to have it? Because you get it for free. Like, okay, prove it to me. So they scroll all the way down. And then on one of the HBO channels, which I'm getting, and I guess it's part of the package that I have, and I never knew that. Silly me. But there's the movie Devil Wears Prada. Emily Blunt was in that movie. I gotta tell you, this is why I don't know what she's been in. I don't watch that kind of stuff. So that's why I remember who I knew I remembered the face. But yeah, she was in Devil Wears Prada. She played the first assistant that became the second assistant, or so, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, hey, if Doesn't like Madison Avenue. She doesn't like Hollywood. Doesn't like the GOP. You know, doesn't like the fact that she has to give up allegiance to the Queen in order to give her allegiance to the American president and our form of government. Then go back to England, honey. See ya. Don't worry, we won't miss you. Welcome back to the program, everyone. It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, and I'm still coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. You can give me a buzz and talk about Miss Emily Blunt if you want to, or other subjects that we're talking about tonight. Here, toll free at 603-835-3224. Again, the number is 603-835-3224. Moving on, talking about other stupidity and other idiots and other idiocy and something that I was referring to during the first segment. Our government is not supposed to be a candy machine. You can't stick your hand out and get all the goodies that you want. That's not what our government is supposed to be about. And, again, we got to understand that it's the people, we the people who are electing these people. And, one of the things, who was it, Cicero or Plato or somebody, said basically, a democracy is in trouble and really will come to an end when the citizenry realizes it can vote itself money from its treasury. Because greed kicks in and everybody thinks, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get mines. I want mines." Well, where do you think the stash is coming from? I don't know. Maybe it's his own personal stash. It's government's personal stash. It ain't no government money. It's personal stash money from the government. Bernie Sanders is playing off of that government is the candy man, handing out all kinds of good little sweet treats. The only problem with candy, the problem when you have too much candy is you get cavities. And when you get cavities, what happens? It means that your teeth are rotting. And that means you've got to have them drilled and filled. And after your teeth have been drilled and filled, and you go through some pain to have them drilled and filled because you got to get a shot in the mouth, and sometimes it's got to be a root canal, sometimes it has to be an extraction, and there could be all other kinds of havoc that goes on in your mouth with drilling and filling. But after all that drilling and filling and all that pain, you get what? A bill. So if you think you're getting something for nothing, you think you're getting something for free, you got another thing coming because you're going to get a bill. That bill is going to come in the form of higher taxes and fees and licenses. And if you think that you're not paying taxes now because I don't own a house, you got another thing coming. You are paying. You're paying when you go shopping. You're paying when you're putting gas in your car. You're paying for everything. Everything, as they say down in Louisiana. Because the government doesn't really have any money unless it taxes you first and takes it from you. And they'll take it from you any way they can. Any way they can get away with. We'll tack on a few cents here to your cell phone bill, and we'll tack on a few cents there on your cell phone bill, and a few cents. So by the time it's all done, it's a few bucks. You won't miss a couple of bucks, right? No. But then you start adding to your cable bill. Well, you got to pay, a few pennies or a few dollars here for your cable bill and taxes. Oh, your phone, your landline, still got one of those? Yeah, there's some taxes there too. Hey, that car that you like driving so much? Well, there's a registration fee, driver's license fee, an inspection fee, and a road fee, and if you buy gas, well, of course, there's taxes on the gas. If you go to the store, you're probably going to have to buy something that has sales tax attached to it, and even if you don't, the tax is already built in because the company that makes or distributes or moves that product that you love so much, well, they're paying taxes, but they're not really paying taxes because all they've done is raise their prices and passed on those higher prices to you, and you pay the higher price, which in turn means that you are directly and indirectly paying for the taxes. So you're paying all taxes even when you think you're not paying any, because you're too po to pay any taxes. You better think again, because they are going to drill you, then fill you, and then bill you, and the government doesn't care how poor you are. You think you're getting ahead because you're getting a handout. Well, that handout, that candy has to come from somewhere, and they have to get that candy by taking it from the American people first. You're not getting back what you're putting in, even though you think you are. Just so you know. The more you know. Wasn't that a Saturday morning thing, the more you know? Or is that like I remember seeing, the star shooting across the television screen. The more you know. Again, liberal indoctrination. But Bernie Sanders is out there offering more candy. Candy to the masses. And I'm ashamed to say that he's able to attract. Now, I heard somebody tonight talk about, well, if Hillary wasn't in such an implosion mode, or if there was somebody else out there who was not Hillary, that Bernie wouldn't be getting the support. They would take Hillary's support from Bernie and turn it on themselves. And I'm thinking, no, I'm not buying that, because you're talking 20, 25, 30,000 people showing up at a Bernie Sanders event. And most of those people know what Bernie Sanders is all about. He's a socialist, bordering on communist. He admits it. But here's the story anyway. Townhall.com, a very wise woman once said, the problem with socialism is that you eventually run out of other people's money, but that isn't stopping Sanders. Bernard. Is his name Bernard? Oh, maybe we should start calling him Bernard. But no offense to any of you listeners out there whose name is Bernie or Bernard, but you call him Bernard Sanders. He sounds like a stuck-up little prick. Just saying. But as socialist Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders continues to rise in the polls against Democrat Hillary Clinton, it's time to start taking a serious look at his policy proposals, their cost, and their what? Yeah, consequences. Now, according to analysis done by the Wall Street Journal, which, by the way, is not exactly a really conservative ragmag of late. I mean, there have been times you read a story from the Wall Street Journal and you think you're scratching your head and thinking to yourself, is this from the Wall Street Journal or is this from the Huffington Post? Just saying. Now, Sandler's, according to analysis done by the Wall Street Journal, Sanders' endless government-based proposals would cost a whopping and highly unsustainable. Now, are you ready for this number if you haven't heard it yet? If you haven't heard this number yet and you're not sitting down, you better sit down. If you're driving your car, pull over. I just tell it. Well, what if I'm standing up in my car? Well, you can't be driving. We don't have stand-up cars. There's an idea for somebody. Stand-up cars. We got the Segway. We got the Segway, but it's not a car. But you stand up on the Segway. So if we can do the Segway, we can do stand-up cars. I don't know how beneficial that would be, but if somebody wants to make a stand-up car, go right ahead, be entrepreneurial, and you'll make a short-term mint. I don't know. Anyway, so the government-based proposal, the cost. And, of course, to a socialist, it doesn't matter because all we have to do is raise taxes on the rich and they'll pay for everything. Well, that's already been disproven numerous times. But in any case, all the programs that Bernie Sanders says that the government should do and that he would do if he were elected is going to cost you, again, all that candy, You're going to get the bill eventually. You're not going to like the bill because this bill is going to come in at a whopping $18 trillion. 18 trillion. 18. Legal age 18. $1 trillion. That's $18 trillion in new spending. New spending. Not increasing old spending. New spending. So we're already, $18 trillion in debt? So Bernie basically wants to double it his first year in office. Oh, let's double it. We'll get the rich fat cats to pay for it and all the Wall Street people. Hey, one of the ways that he wants to pay for this kind of stuff, free college tuition and, free universal health care and free government run this and free government run that. And when you actually run the numbers yourself, you realize it's not so lucrative because it costs too much. And you're really not making a net gain. Now, in all, Bernie backs at least $18 trillion in new spending over a decade, according to a tally by the Wall Street Journal, a sum that alarms conservatives and gives even many Democrats pause. Mr. Sanders sees the money as going to essential government services at a time of increasing strain on the middle class. It's all about saving the middle class, according to Bernie. It's all about making things fair, according to the left and Bernie. It's all about you giving, what the government can give you. Not even if it's what you need, not even if it's what you want, not even if it's what you probably, should or shouldn't have. No, government's saying, well, we think you want this. Well, no, I don't want this. Well, yeah, you do. And then they give it to you, and you find out the cost, and you're like, well, how am I ahead? Because you gave me this new program or what have you, and now my taxes have gone up and taken away the slavery. There's no benefit for me in that. Right? That's what you should be saying. There's no benefit. Now, his agenda included an estimated $15 trillion for a government-run healthcare program that covers every American, plus large sums to rebuild roads and bridges. I thought that's what we were already doing with our gas taxes and registration taxes and driver's license taxes and fees and all the other tolls on the road. And that's not enough to take care of our roads? He also wants to expand Social Security and make tuition free at public colleges. Well, somebody's got to pay for all that. So that's a sum of at least $18 trillion. And we know once the government gets involved in this kind of stuff, the cost almost always goes up. So that $18 trillion is just a starting point. It is not going to be the end point. Look, we're told, I'm telling you, Obamacare is going to be great. You're going to keep your doctor if you want to. And I know most of you don't want to. Well, at least that's what we're going to tell you. Most of you didn't want your doctor. That's why you don't have him anymore. So Bernie is doing what I want to do. Plain and simple.
Hello.
Good evening. You're on the Rod Eccles Show. What's on your mind? 678.
Well, Rod, I see your articles on BCN and saw the number to call. Laura Steins, I guess is her name, gave the number, and I just thought I would call. I also do a few articles for BCN. But just wanted to know your opinion on Black History Month.
Black History Month. It was once a decent idea, not a great one. But what should happen is that we should be teaching American history and then world history, and it should encompass every color of the rainbow. There shouldn't be there isn't a Latino History Month right now, is there? There definitely isn't a White History Month. I understand that a lot of times history gets quote unquote whitewashed. Well, liberals are in charge of our educational system in this country, so whose fault is that? If we
certainly not my fault.
No, but if we had real history being taught in school, there would be no need for Black History Month because it would already be included with American and world history.
I agree with that. That sounds good. When you separate it, if you had taken down the flags and all that, and have get everybody incited with all the bad things that have happened to all the different groups, you could have Cherokee History Month and really talk about atrocities and that sort of thing. And you could have every group has had a tough time in the United States.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I'm part Cherokee, and as I tell everybody, I can prove it. And I know the history of the Cherokee people. It's not a pretty one, not as far as we can go for recent history, and recent history is the last couple of 100 years. It's not a pretty historical view the last couple of 100 years. But again, you know what? Just about every ethnic background on this planet at some time or another has had some sort of atrocity committed against it and has been enslaved at one point or another. And some have been worse than slavery here in the United States for blacks. And as we were reminded earlier tonight on another program that I was on, there were other people other than blacks who were slaves during that time. Now, granted, the vast majority were blacks, yes, but there were some white slaves, there were some Native American slaves, there were some other slaves from South America, there were some Jewish slaves at that particular time. So, I mean, this whole notion that we need to separate our history, that's just the epitome of stupidity, actually. And that's not what Dr. King was all about.
Okay. Well, I've enjoyed your answer, and I'll read some more of your articles on BCN, and you might see some of mine as Ted McDonald, but mine are very short, just photos and a couple of sentences. But I'm enjoying you on there. I've commented a couple of times, and hope to see more of your articles there.
I hope you continue to enjoy. Thanks for the call. We'll be right back, folks.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave leaving your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSInstitute.com.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
603-835-3224 is the number to call should you wish to join me here on the Rod Eccles Show. Something that's on your mind, or especially whatever I've already been discussing. You can go ahead and talk to me about it. I'd be more than happy to. You know, I might add one more thing to the last caller about Black History Month. You know, if we actually taught all history, we wouldn't need to have a specific month for this. But more importantly, is you have to, if you ever talk to a black person, and I'm black and I've talked to black people, talked to myself, but I've talked to other black people about just this certain thing. And I asked her, are you really satisfied with having your history taught 1/12 of the year? This is basically what it is. 1 month out of the year. 1/12. Do you think that we're only 1/12 of the world history? Well, not a single person says, well, yeah, that's all there is. It's just 1/12. No. They're like, well, geez, since you put it that way, that is kind of insulting, Rod. It is insulting. We got a bunch of white liberal Democrats who threw up there, you know what? Hey, why don't you guys have your own history month? We're going to have a history month dedicated to you. So you guys can, learn, people can learn about and be taught black history. Because, we don't teach it the rest of the year, so we'll just give you 1 month. And of course, people like Al Sharpton said, yeah, that's what we want. We want 1 month. When you actually think about it, that's kind of insulting. That's really placing, your ethnic people's. Look, the whole notion of Black History Month does not uplift blacks, in my opinion. I believe it denigrates us. It denigrates us because those in power can say, well, geez, we can placate you with just 1/12 of the year, and we're not going to bother teaching any more of your history for the rest of the year. And generally speaking, that's exactly what they do. Really. Go sit in a history class in a middle school or a high school and tell me I'm wrong. Yeah, if you're a history teacher in a public middle or high school, call me up and tell me I am wrong. Does the curriculum say that you must teach all history that includes black history the rest of the school year? Or is it really emphasized just during Black History Month? Now, if you're only talking about, well, we're talking about just being in school. What if kids are in school, 9, 10 months out of the year? Again, you're still only 1 out of those 9 or 10 months. Still pretty insulting. Just saying. I know some people are going to say, well, you don't want people to learn about black history, Rod? Are you out? What are you and Uncle Tom? No, of course I want people to learn the contribution made to America and the world in general by all groups of people. All the time. Not just 1 month out of the year. Because there's so much more to it than just you can fit in 1 month, really. Speaking of middle school and high school, there was another issue that I wanted to get to first, but that conversation delves or doves so nicely. You know, I'm agreeing with Rush. It's a caller's job to make the host look good. And that caller makes me look awesome because I have something else here that dovetails with that, education. Beautiful thing how this works. But this is something that liberals are going to they're going to have a conniption. You know, when I was in I attended middle school in northern Michigan. And during 1 week in the fall and 1 week in the winter and 1 week in the spring, we had things called hunter, snowmobile, and boating safety. Now, hunter safety? Yeah, we had a week. It was a week. I think, was it 7th grade? Yeah, 7th grade. And it took place during science class, and now we didn't actually get to fire any rifles or shotguns, but we got to see them and touch them, and we learned about, all the safety mechanisms and how to handle it safely, and we learned all about gun safety in science class. And we learned all about hunting safety in science class. Well, obviously up there, hunting was at least back then was very big and probably still is very big. But somebody brought a gun to school. Now, again, it wasn't loaded, but a teacher brought a gun to school. And, we had people come in, like the game wardens would come in and talk about hunting laws and hunting safety and blah, blah, blah. But it was in a public school. Public school. And the way you hear liberals talk today, you would think that only right-wing extreme Republicans want guns anymore. Nobody wants guns. Nobody wants to shoot guns. Nobody wants to learn how to shoot guns. Well, that would go against the face of actual reality and fact. And here's a story out of the Washington Times that is going to give liberals conniption fits. Millennials. These are the kids that are in school now. The kids, what? When is the millennial generation? Is that, was that 2000, 1999, 2000? Is that when it started? A little bit before? In any case, it's, these kids people under 30, if that's where it goes to. But millennials love guns. Well, we could tell that by all the video games out there. One of the video games. When you're talking about video games, now I guess we recently had a Comic-Con convention, comic convention, or what was it? Comic-Con is what they're called, here in the Granite State not too long ago. And speaking with somebody who actually went there, they were talking about, because Comic-Cons it's more than just about comic books. It's about, the whole sort of cosplay environment, which encompasses, comic books and science fiction and video games. And one of the things that they were telling me is that video games is certain video style or types of video games are experiencing a growth in the sector that they've never seen grow before. And that is, the so-called first-person shooter or violent video games like, the war games, Call of Duty and such, by girls. Well, you got to shoot guns in this stuff. No, sure, they're video game guns, fake guns, but you still got to shoot them. And girls are starting to pick up on this stuff. So, guys, you better watch out. You might be getting your butt kicked in Call of Duty pretty soon by another girl. Just saying. But in any case, millennials are liking their guns, and it's probably due to has a lot to do with video games, because many of them are kind of violent war, shoot 'em up type of games, but they love guns as shooting sports. And these shooting sports are rapidly gaining popularity in public high schools. And here's a part of the story. Lindsay Martin is a girl. You got to say, Lindsay's a unisex name. Lindsey Graham's a guy, right? It's spelled the same way. So Lindsay Martin, who's a girl, first picked up a rifle to go deer hunting with her father, but it was an afternoon that she spent with him a year later shooting clay pigeons in her backyard that set her passion for sport. Oh my goodness, she's a Sarah Palin on the rise. But anyway, for shooting sports. The rising senior at Glen Allen High School in Virginia is now establishing herself as a competitive shooter with Olympic aspirations. Her own school doesn't have a team yet, so she joined the Dusters, a trap shooting team at nearby Fort Lee. Her father is the coach of that team. She is the only girl on the team, but she's the rising star of the team. High school students are picking up guns. They're joining gun clubs and gun organizations and hunting clubs. And the sport is growing. Well, how are the liberals going to be able to take guns from the millennials if the millennials want them? If you're a millennial, are you paying attention to these people who want to take your guns? Just saying, it is what it is. Amazing that the millennial. Well, it's not so amazing because when you explain to people the reality of gun rights, that it's really not about the gun. Now, I have said this before. You have the right to defend yourself by any means possible. Now, granted, it's probably not a good idea in society to let people, run around with a bazooka and an active firing bazooka with bazooka shells and hand grenades and stuff like that. I get that. That's just dangerous for society. That's not those are offensive weapons, not self-defense weapons. But a gun can be an offensive as well as a defensive weapon. And you have the right to defend yourself. You have a God-given, Gaia. Is that what they call Mother Nature, the goddess of nature, whatever? Isn't it Gaia, whatever? Gaia. You have a God-given, Holy Father-given, Gaia-given right, born birthright to defend yourself. I think I covered all of them, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Allah. Given right. Now, I covered them all, right? No, Buddha's not a god. I know somebody's going to say, well, Buddha. No, Buddha's not a god. Buddha is a... Do they don't consider Buddha to be a god, do they? I don't know. They don't. Any case. You have that right to defend yourself. By any means necessary. By any means possible. So it isn't about the gun. It's not about the gun. Gun laws and gun control is not about the gun. It's about control. Because we know that more murders are committed in this country, more injuries are committed, attacks are committed by using these are FBI stats. Hammers. A lot more people get knifed than shot. Oh, we're going to start banning or licensing hammers and knives and other, potentially deadly weapons? I mean, come on. It's not about the gun. It's about control. Now, granted, you can say, well, Rod, if somebody brings a knife to a fight and you bring a gun, you got the upper hand. Well, you might, unless that person knows how to use a knife. And they can flick and throw a knife almost as quick as you can pull a trigger. Sure, the knife isn't going to fly as fast as a bullet, but hey, it's still a projectile, and it can have a deadly aim just like a gun. Well, people have to learn and practice how to use a throwing knives rod to be accurate. Well, people have got to be, when you're at a distance, you got to practice being accurate with a gun. It's not that easy just to fire off a gun and hit a target, far from you. It takes some practice. There's a lot of stuff involved. And why do you think there's an Olympic sport? All you got to do is point and shoot. It's not that easy to hit the target. It really isn't. Might explain why, we hear stories about, a hail of bullets, 15,000 rounds were shot, but only 8 bullets met their mark. Because somebody doesn't know how to shoot accurately. So it's not about the gun. Let me repeat. Gun laws that restrict your ability to have a gun is not about the gun. It's about control. And it's about control over you. Because if you really want to go after culprits or things that cause the maximum amount of deaths per year, you wouldn't be thinking or going after guns at first. You'd want to go after the number 1 reason, then number 2 reason, and number 3 reason. And as far as stats go in this country about how people die, guns are not in the top 3. But yet, none of the top 3 are being targeted by the liberal left. Only your gun. You got to ask yourself why that is. Because it's not about the gun, folks. It's about control. Hey, the CBO, this is a WashingtonTimes.com story as well. The CBO says, did you know that repealing the Obamacare mandate, not Obamacare. Now, let me repeat. The CBO, Congressional Business Office, says that repealing the mandate, just the mandate, nothing else, not the whole law, would save taxpayers about $305 billion a year. $300 billion by repealing the mandate. No. Everybody's got to have it. You got to have it. Because that's how we pay for this. That's how we save money. Well, obviously that's not how we save money. Not at all. And that actually repealing this stupid mandate part of it, well, I think we should repeal the whole law, but repealing the mandate part of this law, congressional budget minders are saying that repealing Obamacare's individual mandate would save taxpayers more than $305 billion, but increase the number of uninsured Americans by 14 million over the next decade. Well, whose fault if they're uninsured? Well, wait a minute. What if they don't want to be insured? What if they want to have a different kind of insurance that currently is illegal? Did you know that the funny thing is, and it's not so funny, but of course we use this analogy when we try to keep from crying, that Obamacare does allow for major medical plans. You know, I've talked about major medical plans because I've had them in the past. I love them, think they're great. It's the way to go. And I've said that Obamacare the law has made, major medical plans illegal. Well, that's not the whole truth. If you are under a particular age, I do believe the cutoff, was it 28 or is it 30? I think it's 30. If you're under the age of 30, you can have a major medical plan. Why? Because major medical plans are cheap. They cover the major stuff, hospitalization. You get put in the hospital, you're covered. If you're just going to the doctor to get a checkup, well, you got to pay for it out of your own pocket or use some other type of insurance. Major medical is for the major medical expenses. That's what I had for a long time because it was cheap. And it protected me from, a major catastrophe should I have ended up in the hospital. But if you're over the age of 30, you can't have one. Oh, you got to go the full boat. Well, I don't want the full boat. Well, too bad. You got to have it. Somebody's got to pay for this thing. So there's the mandate. Doesn't make things cheaper. Makes things more expensive for everybody. And if we got rid of the mandate, it would save taxpayers, over $300 billion. And they say, well, then we're going to have 14 million people who aren't covered. Well, some of that 14 million people are going to choose not to be covered. Some of that 14 million people, if you allow them to have such a plan, will choose to go back to or choose a new major medical plan. So would they really be uninsured completely? No. Now, the mandate requires people to obtain approved health insurance or pay a tax penalty. So I guess you could, if you could find a company to sell you an unapproved health insurance plan, you're still going to have to pay. How's that, America? I'm asking a serious question. You gotta buy this, but because the government's mandating it. Again, what is that? That's control. Control, plain and simple. No other way to explain it. Government wants control over your life. So all they have to do is make a rule or regulation. Don't even have to pass a law. Just make a rule or regulation. And hey, you're the one that elected these people who appointed the person who is now making a new rule or regulation that you have to follow under penalty of law, which can include up to and including jail. And you can sit there and say, but I didn't break a law. But you broke a rule or you broke a regulation. And those are more important than laws. Just saying. Yeah, well, it is what it is. But you deserve the government that you elect. I know a lot of people out there listening to this program saying, well, I didn't vote for this person. I didn't vote for that person. Look, I get it. I got it. I didn't vote for a lot of these idiots either. I fully understand. I know where you're coming from. Yes, we're allowed to complain because we didn't vote for this kind of garbage. We didn't vote for the people that are putting in, that are applying this kind of garbage. I get it. Got it. Good. The point I'm making is that now we have to if we don't want this to continue, we're going to have to be the leadership here in our communities and go out and you know what? Hey, you start your own talk show. I don't care if it's a half hour, one day a week. Do something. Talk to people. Let them know that this is what, they do have options, and the option for them taking care of themselves instead of government trying to take care of you and hand you candy is not the best way to go, but taking care of yourself is the best way to go. Start explaining to people why. Just have a regular conversation with your neighbor, with your coworker. Don't bring up the whole aspect of liberal or conservative. It doesn't really matter. The whole point is what is right. Now, fortunately for us, conservatism is what's right and liberalism is what's wrong. But if you don't explain it liberal versus conservative, but you explain it right versus wrong, best, good, better, best. There's the analogy. Use a good, better, best analogy. Sure, you may think that this type of government is good for you, but this type of government is better, and a free, as the founders had it designed, is best government for the people, of the people, by the people. Use that. Start using that when you're talking to people. And talk to people every day. I don't care. Do something for yourself. Don't depend on your neighbor and don't depend on your government because they will all let you down. Just telling you the facts. That's the truth, folks. Well, that sound means we're out of time for today. We'll be back here tomorrow. Until then, I'm Rod Eccles. This has been the Rod Eccles Show. Have a wonderful night and a great hump day. I'm out.
The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Hey folks, Slickery Trigger here. I'd like to take a minute to tell you about Rebel Road Tactical. As a defensive pistol instructor, I've had the opportunity to observe many different holster designs and configurations. And one thing is clear. Many of my students won't carry a pistol, or worse, they'll carry one without a holster at all. Holster designers aren't making holsters for normal people. It seems that most holsters are either an expensive piece of gear designed for Rambo or a piece that doesn't fit or function the way real people need it to fit and function. So, like any good Texan, I decided to learn to form kydex and design one myself, one that would fit the needs of average people. The result is the Rebel Road Tactical CRT Modular. The CRT stands for Carry, Range, and Training. Its thin and lightweight curved design minimizes printing and is adjustable to fit just right for superior comfort and function. Check us out after the show at rebelroadconcealed.blogspot.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.